Hey guys, it is Dwayne here from DewyHQ, and today I am discussing some possible Persona 5 party member Arcanas. And as we know, we have a confirmed amount of 5 party members so far, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of Arcanas they'll get, and some might be predictable, but some we might not even get. So let's jump into the gist of it. Okay, so up first, we've definitely got the protagonist. Obviously, it's going to be the full, the wild card, number 0, endless possibilities type of thing. So, no, without a doubt, the protag will definitely have the full, and I think it's been confirmed that Arsene is definitely a full persona. So next up, we'll jump into Ryoji, whose persona is Captain Kid. I thought it was Captain Aham at first, but it was confirmed the other day that it actually is Captain Kid. Now, this persona can kind of lean many ways. Ryoji's kind of like the protag's best man, so you would say usually the best man or the right-hand man of the protag would usually be the magician, but with the magician, usually the magician has a somewhat high SP level, and he doesn't really have a high SP level, so I'm kind of leaning towards maybe Chariot or perhaps Emperor. And based on the short description that we got of the characters when they announced the Japanese voice actors, it says that he's like a trouble child, so it could kind of like lean on what Kanji was in Persona 4, but I'm kind of leaning towards Magician, but I think either Chariot or Emperor would be nice to see. So next in the list we've got Anne, and her persona is Carmen. Now this is interesting because, so usually the first female you'd see in the game would usually be the Lover's Arcana, as you can see with Yukari from Persona 3, who was the Lover's Arcana, and also in the opening cutscene of Persona 4, we also got to see Rise immediately in that first opening animated cutscene. But there's also a couple of other ideas I've had for Anne's potential Arcana, and it could either be Magician, which would make her the first female magician, which I think would be interesting. Also a fire user, fire users seem to be pretty popular in the Magician apart from Jiraiya, which was a wind persona. But the other prediction I kind of have for her is that she could be Empress, based on the images we see of Carmen, and how she's like essentially stepping on the dudes who have got the heart-shaped boxes for heads. I believe like this could kind of lean towards a Mitsuru type of character for her persona, which is kind of interesting in a way, and that's my best guesses for those, for Carmen as a persona. So I believe that either Anne's going to be Lover's, Magician, or Empress. I think it'd be interesting to see a female Magician for the first time around, but I'm kind of leaning towards Lovers or Empress based on the her persona herself and her outfits. Now third up we've got Morgana. Now Morgana's probably one of my favorite characters so far, but as predicted, it wasn't Puss in Boots, but it was Zoro. I was kind of leaning towards that or the other. I didn't think it was going to be Zoro. I thought Puss in Boots would be kind of like, the cat answer to it, but anyway, Zoro is the persona, so I'm not entirely concerned about that, but either way, there's a couple of ways we can take Morgana. Is that she could either be of the Strength Arcana, which is, Zoro being such a strong character. Well, as you can see, Zoro is pretty buff, so that might actually lead to the Strength Arcana, but I'm most likely leaning towards the Justice Arcana based on what Zoro fought for, fighting for the poor, fighting for what's right, and, doing away with evildoers and stuff like that. So I'm either leaning towards Justice or potentially Star based on what Teddy was in Persona 4. And Persona 4, Teddy was the star because he was something different, he was something strange, and he was kind of unsure where he fit into the world. This could also blend in with Morgana, so there's also the potential route that they could take. But I'm most likely leaning between Strength, Justice, and Star, mainly Justice, just based on Morgana's persona. So last up we have Yusuke, and his persona is Goemon. It was confirmed in the Famitsu articles, and his one is the traditional Japanese warrior. I think it's really interesting. From what I understand, Goemon was kind of like a Japanese Robin Hood in a way. Not exactly the same as Robin Hood, but similar along those lines. But I feel that he could either lean towards Justice, Hierophant, or Moon. Now, Justice is along the same sort of lines as Zoro, fighting for what's right, doing the right thing, getting rid of evildoers. That's kind of like what Robin Hood did in a way. I'm just referring to Robin Hood because that's the best analogy I have. I'm not quite sure about Goemon, but it could either lead towards that or potentially Hierophant, because Hierophant has seen more traditional Japanese characters that might actually fit into that aspect, or potentially it's Moon, maybe because it's a ninja, you know, nighttime type of thing, you know, ninjas got around in the nighttime. So I'm either leaning towards those three. I think they could be the most interesting. Now, that actually clarifies something in my analysis video. I didn't actually notice that there's a sixth person running down the pyramid. You can see it for a split second of a frame, and you can actually make out that there are 6 people, including Morgana, running down the pyramid. So this potentially means that we've got a 6th party member on the way. I wouldn't believe that they just leave it at 5. I think they've actually confirmed that there's going to be more, and one of the other things I've noted just quite personally is that we don't have a navigator yet, and I feel that there's a lack of female characters, so our navigator will most likely be female, matching in with the trend of Rise and Fuka. So that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe or leave a like if you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more Persona 5 stuff. So I'll see you guys then.